Another key component in persistence is the pursuit of warm to hot leads. Very often, what I see with clients, we do a horrible job of lead follow-up in general. We're very poor at following up with our leads. One, you get a referral lead, you call them once, oh, they never called me back. Pursue them multiple times. People tell me, oh, I need more leads, I need more leads. I'm going to tell you this, it is not about lead generation, it is about lead conversion. There are plenty of leads out there. There are plenty of opportunities. It's what we do with them once we're in front of them that makes the difference. We need to learn how to multiply follow up with leads. And I'm not talking about watering dead plants. There's an exit. At a certain point, we say goodbye, see you. But we need to do more than once. And we need to manage them through a contact management system. No more legal pad database management. The legal pad database management system is obsolete now more than ever. We need to manage them. Thrivers running at peak performance in the persistent areas appropriately follow up with their warm to hot leads. We lose too many. It's also a dogged determination and not taking no for an answer. Does anyone here have a fox terrier or a little rat terrier? Does anybody have one? You know what I'm talking about, those little dogs? Now just imagine this, and I do not want you to report me to the Humane Society. This is just a visual. But if you take a towel and wave it in front of them, they can't resist. They will jump and bite on it. You could lift them up. They won't let go. That's dogged determination. You could throw them. Don't throw them. You could imagine throwing them. They'll still hang on. That is dogged determination, not giving up. When you know you have a hot, motivated buyer seller, not trying to make something out of nothing, but when you have that right person, that you have that dogged determination, that persistence, that never give up attitude. Winston Churchill in World War II, facing imminent invasion from the Nazis. Actually, the Nazis overran Europe at that point. He rallied his Brits by saying 4 words. Never, never, never quit. Never quit. If you want to persevere, we have to have this persistence in this marketplace, in this time. You see, trials and tribulation produce perseverance. Perseverance produces proven character, and proven character produces hope. If you ever see anyone who's given up hope, they're hopeless, you know why that is? They failed to persevere through their trials. Our characters developed during trials and tribulation, not during times when it's ducks on a pond. I coach Realty Executive clients up in Saskatoon, Saskatchewan. If you want to know the hot spot in North America, of all places, it's Saskatoon. This place was overlooked, the armpit of North America, until about 5 or 6 years ago. They have oil, they have potash, they have all the right stuff, and they are going through the roof. And what I have to fight with my clients is complacency. Man, it's just so easy, it's so good. Some of us remember those days. What happens? Character goes out the window sometimes. Complacency sets in. We need to fight that. And people who lost hope have failed to persevere through their trials and their tribulation. What is one thing that 80% of America's millionaires have in common? Does anybody have any idea? 80% of America's millionaires have this thing in common. Does anybody know? Inherited? They could, possibly. That's not the answer I was looking for. Anybody else? What's that? Yeah, oh, definitely. We'll talk about that. They're immigrants. 80% of America's millionaires are immigrants. If you study the most successful people in the world and in this country, they've done through, not one-hit wonders, not Boy George. I'm talking about people who persevered through a lot, or you'll find that they've persevered through a lot. I want to share with you a story that I witnessed firsthand. I grew up in St. Paul, Minnesota. Is anybody from Minnesota? Oh, St. Paul. Wow. I didn't think I'd find anybody from St. Paul in here. That's good. St. Paul, yeah, sure, you betcha. So I grew up in St. Paul. You'll probably even know the school. And I don't know if you were living there during this time or not. In the late 70s, early 80s, and you can do the math and figure out how old I am if you want, I was in high school. And during that time, there was the Hmong lifting of the Hmong refugees in Cambodia and Laos. They were being slaughtered. The Hmong, it's H-M-O-N-G, they're a very small, stocky people that were primitive in the jungles of Cambodia and Laos. And somebody from the State Department got the great idea of relocating a majority of them to Minnesota in February. So they were coming in, and this was during that last recession and so forth. And at the time, I was going to a nice private school, and I was in a rebellious stage. If you want to know that whole story, you have to hire me as a client, and then I'll tell you. But I was going to, I wanted to go to the inner city school in St. Paul Central. And so she's got that. I wanted to go there and experience that. And so they interjected all of these Hmong kids now, high school kids in there. They didn't know the language. They had clothes on for the first time. They were confused and scared. And if you know high school kids, they're brutal. They were brutal to these people. And you could see the fear and the terror in their eyes. You go back to St. Paul, Minnesota, one generation later, they own the businesses in St. Paul. In one generation, they learned the language. They rallied around. They learned the culture. They worked and persevered and persisted. And now most of those kids that were teasing them and mocking them work for them. Okay? So thrivers running at peak performance run at a persistent level, and there are many examples that we can take from that. Let's go to attitude. We talked about attitude before. Attitude is the difference maker, and it determines your altitude. Your attitude determines your altitude. It will determine whether you soar on eagle's wings or flop around on the ground like a turkey. It's your call. It's up to you how you want to live your life. It's the difference between an optimist and a pessimist. Optimists see the opportunities in the problem. Pessimists see the problem in the opportunity. A big difference. We need to positively project ourselves. We need to positively project our company. Now, executives, I can't imagine there'll be anybody in this room, but if you do not have a positive outlook about your company, you need to get another one. Oops, sorry about that, brokers. We need to be positive about everything. Brokers, you need to be positive about your brand. We're going to talk about this tomorrow, broker owners. You are positioned absolutely perfectly in this market as a Realty Executive owner. We'll talk about that tomorrow. But just in case you're not, you need to make sure you do. You need to have a positive outlook on your inventory. That would be your listings. Or if you're a broker owner, on your agents, your executives. You need to have a positive outlook on there. If you don't, you need to get rid of them. Or we need to change our attitude, perhaps, if it's us. We need to have that positive outlook on all those areas. I'm not talking about being Pollyanna, though. Please hear me out. No, life is all wonderful. We have to deal with the brutal facts with our agents and with our clients. We don't want to tell them what they want to hear. We need to tell them the truth. So that doesn't mean we're going to be Pollyanna in those areas. The last one is confidence. This one is huge. Confidence, thrivers run at in this peak performance level. And when I'm talking about confidence, I'm talking about confidence in God and His promises for us. We're not in this game alone. Talking about self-confidence, confidence again in your product and your company, your inventory. When I'm talking about confidence, we have to understand this. If you are struggling with self-confidence in any area and you're going out into the field, the clientele, the customer, the consumer senses that. No one right now wants to do business with a sales professional lacking confidence. Why? They're nervous enough as it is. You're just giving them signals, don't do this. I'm not so confident either about this. We need to have confidence, and I'm not talking about cockiness. I'm not talking about arrogance. I'm talking about quiet confidence in ourselves. We need to have that. Thrivers who run at peak performance have a high level of confidence. And now you have peak performance.